You love worship. You love God's presence. And maybe you love songwriting, or you dream of leading worship, playing music, or simply going deeper in God's presence. Before I continue, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Hannah Coulombe. I am a worship leader, singer, songwriter, and musician. And here's a little bit about my story. I've been singing since I can literally remember: weddings, musicals, different events. I remember actually being 11 years old and my dad asking me out of the blue, we were folding some laundry, he said, "Hey, if I got you a piano, would you learn how to play?" And without thinking, I actually wasn't fully interested. I just said, "Yeah, sure." And actually a week later, my dad came home with a piano, and there my journey began with music. I didn't know that God would use that in my life. I didn't even know God, but He knew that He would use that in my life. And of course, it all changed when I met God and gave my life to Him. And actually how that happened, I didn't grow up knowing Jesus. I went to church. I kept going because I loved the people. I joined my first worship team not knowing Jesus, and actually I encountered God in such a powerful way. There was a guy preaching the gospel. He said, "Hey, if anyone's in the room and wants to know God and you don't know Him, come to the front." I remember just lifting my eyes to the roof and I said, "God, if you are real, I need you to show yourself to me now, or I am forever walking away." So I went to the front, and guys, I felt God's love in such a tangible way. And there, from that moment on, I was forever marked and everything changed. I started leading worship on my 15th birthday, and I just fell in love with God's presence. I would come home every day from high school and just go on my piano, sing to Him all alone, just to Him. And that's actually where I cultivated my worship world with an audience of one. That's also where I wrote a lot of my own songs. I encountered God's presence there. And when you experience the real raw of His presence, you will never be the same again. And I have actually never been. I am marked for life. And it became my dream to become skilled and excellent at worship leading, singing, songwriting, so that I could host God's presence for others to get to know God and encounter Him the exact same way that I did. And it became my mission to write songs for people to experience God deeply. Worship is so powerful. I would lead worship actually running in my room while I was in high school all day. I'd come home, open the door to my room, and I'd feel God's presence just rush out of my room, and I wanted more. And worship is where chains break, addiction cease, healings happen, and where you encounter Him in such a deep way. And I believe He created us for worship. It's in our DNA. And through the years of leading worship, singing, and songwriting, I've learned so many lessons. Actually, for example, worship isn't about crowd size or if people are reacting to how I'm leading. If they were crying or holding up their hands, I thought maybe I missed it. And I would focus more on how I was doing and sounded if people really encountered God. I would think about, oh, my voice crack, and it was a good or it was a bad worship set, when all along it was always about Him. Did I position and posture my heart to worship Him? You know, worship isn't about our feelings and how God meets us. It's about Him. And when we focus on Him, everything seems to fall off of us like a waterproof surface. And when we focus on Him, we know who we are because we know who He is. And it's why I am here today, because after years of pouring my heart into worship, singing, songwriting, I felt called to help raise up the next generation of worshipers, singers, songwriters, real, authentic worship. Not just a good song or a good set, but to steward the gifting that I have to help others with their giftings, to encounter the one true living God in worship. And maybe that's you. Maybe you've wanted to dive deeper into those things. So I'm actually going to be creating resources to help you do that. Anything from practical skills for your singing voice to show you how to write songs, to the art of leading worship. Even actually how to hear God's voice and encounter Him with your worship. But I need your help. What are some things you'd like to grow in when it comes to those subjects? Singing, songwriting, worship leader. Comment below some questions you may have or some things you'd like to know so I can help serve you. This channel isn't about me, it's about what God wants to do. And I believe He's raising up a generation of singers, musicians, worshipers who will actually carry, steward, and host His presence in such a powerful way. So whether you're new to worship or you're ready to level up, I believe this channel will help you grow. And of course, I want this space to be all about His presence. Every worship video, every teaching, every resource, it's an invitation to meet with Him, grow in your skills, sharpen your gifts. And if this sounds like something you're excited about, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss a worship set or teaching. And share this with someone who loves God's presence or who wants to grow in any of these subjects. And I believe it's an honor that we get to do this together. So thank you so much for being here, for worshiping with me, and for joining me on this journey.